final panel discussion for the 25th World Education Summit, Strengthening Vocational and Technical Education, the Need of the Hour. So I would request our esteemed panelists to kindly be on stage. Dr. Afseer Majeed, lecturer and academic manager, Business Management Explore Educational Institute, Dubai, who is the moderator of the session today. Vrushali Mhatre, Program Director of Studies, Heriot-Watt University, Dubai. Wiktor Patena, Acting Executive Dean, Higher Colleges of Technology, Abu Dhabi. Peter Mugambi, Senior Lecturer, University of Bolton City, Ras Al Khaimah. Dr. Amita Mahor, Director, Oriental College of Technology, Bhopal, India. Mr. Syed Mohammed Abbas, Head of Sales and Marketing, Western University College, Ajman, UAE. Kindly please be on stage, please. I hand over the mic to Dr. Afseer Majeed, Lecturer and Academic Manager, Business Management, Explore Educational Institute, Dubai.
Yes, good afternoon. We are moving to the last panel discussion of this program, and I'm very honored to be here as a moderator today. My name is Afseer Majeed. I'm heading the team of academics at Explore Education Dubai. We are a vocational education center here under KHDA. And here we have got a team of people. I would like to welcome our team members first, the panel members. First of all, I would like to welcome Ms. Vrushali Mhatre. She's a program director of studies at Heriot-Watt University. And we have Mr. Wiktor Patena. He is Acting Executive Dean of Higher College of Technology, Abu Dhabi. Then we have Mr. Peter Mugambi. He is a senior lecturer at the University of Bolton at the Ras Al Khaimah. Then we have Dr. Amita Mahor. She is a director at the Oriental College of Technology, Bhopal. Then we have Mr. Syed Abbas. He is a head of sales and marketing at the Western University College, Ajman. I would like to welcome all the speakers to this panel discussion. And as we said in the topic, it's actually, the strengthening the vocational training as well as, technical education as the need of the hour. As we all know that, like nowadays, the education system is changing rapidly, especially the post-COVID, the change has become very faster. So in the beginning, I'll tell you like a few global trends and statistics which are associated with the vocational education, which like all of us will be on the same plate so that we can have an intellectual discussion about this. And there are some vital statistics which says that, in Europe and all, there are like 15 million jobs which are given to people who are qualified with vocational education every year. And in USA, as for like a Pew Research Center, there are like 65% Americans says that, in the workplace, we require more of people who are trained with the vocational skills rather than the conventional education. So there are like other statistics by World Economic Forum says that, 54% of employees will require a kind of maybe a reskilling or an upskilling, which should involve a certain kind of vocational education. So understanding all these global statistics, it's clearly saying that, at the time of, maybe we are in the 21st century where which like a lot of changes are happening around the globe, how important the vocational education is. So I would like to invite our panel members for giving their opening remarks, then we will get into that specific topic-related discussions. First, I would like to welcome Ms. Vrushali, ma'am. So,
hello. Yes, so I basically come from a design background. I've studied interior design. I've been working in the field for about, a little closer, okay. I've been working in the field for about 12 years, and then I moved to teaching interior design. And now I've been teaching for 15 years. I just thought I'll take it as a brief stunt for some time and then go back. But then, like they say, once a teacher, always a teacher. And I continued to stay on. So when I did my master's and then I moved to the profession, I always felt that But I never studied this in higher education. I never studied this in school, or I never studied this in my university. So I always felt that there is a gap between education and industry, especially probably from the field that I come from. So how could we bridge this gap? How could we make our education, how could we make our graduates more industry ready? That was the biggest challenge, because just bookish knowledge, theoretical knowledge is not going to work. Nobody has a time anymore to teach graduates. They expect them to come ready to take on as soon as they're employed. So I feel a lot responsibility lies in academia, yes, but also the industry by itself. We do need the industry and education to go hand in hand. We want the industry also to come forward, because we are helping to train academically graduates who are going to come to the industry and be their colleagues, you know. So I think that this is a very important, where the industry comes hand in hand by means of offering internships, by field visits, guest lectures, conducting workshops, and also coming in as jurors to check on student work, giving them advice, what do they need to be ready to come out of university. So I think that is a very important thing, that connection between academia and industry. They have to go hand in hand. And we would like to invite industry partners to come more on board, you know, to come on board as advisors, where they could advise that this is what should be incorporated in the curriculum, this is what you should be teaching in university, so that the graduates are just ready to take on. So that's my opinion.
Max, I think it's Heriot-Watt University is taking right steps towards, building a better experience for the students, so that like you can bridge a gap between the university versus that industry's expectation. So moving forward to Mr. Peter Mugambi, he's from University of Bolton for the opening remarks.
So on this topic, I like to think about as the concept of making vocational qualifications much more attractive, because in the view from the society, they have lost a lot of attractiveness. You might just find that even qualified people who are able to join this vocational qualification, they will not, because there is so much stigma. So there needs to be a lot to be done to make sure that this vocational education, who are actually much the custodian of the factors of production. So once they are not working there, then also you see that they have a great impact on the economy as a whole. So they are much needed for every aspect. And once it starts to become attractive, because it's so unattractive now to join this, then we have the academicians, academic education. So they also have a very big role to reconcile the content and bring it up to date, so that even the guy with a vocational qualification will feel belonging, that he belongs. So much of this responsibility belongs to these guys who are in the academic education to share. And as I do this opening, is that the academic education sector is very dynamic, and now is seen as if it is poaching from vocational qualification. They want people to do internships, skills, things that never existed but were. And this is further damaging the vocational qualification. So that is a very broad topic to follow on.
Yes, Peter. I hope you are trying to convince the fact that the vocational education is very important to prepare the students for the industry. He's also agreeing to the point which ma'am is pointing out, and like how we can make our students to prepare with the appropriate skill sets for the future workforce. So that's the point he's trying to highlight. Mr. Wiktor, so what you want to say in the beginning as you are representing Higher College of Technology, Abu Dhabi?
Thank you so much. Sorry for the technical problems. Well, first of all, undoubtedly, it's a recent trend to make education more practical, utilitarian, and have close ties with the industry, and simply get students employed. Yes, that's the main target now. And we're doing quite a lot here. And well, traditionally, just like probably most of the business schools, we have the industry advisory committees endorsing the programs, endorsing the changes in the curriculum. We have professional development when we invite industry experts to share the knowledge and the experience and the recent knowledge about the recent trends with the faculty. But recently we also have a new project called IDC, Industry-Driven Curriculum, when we actually involve the groups of industry with the faculty working on certain courses we identified, 5 courses per year, just to make them really up to date and current and involving anything that the industry needs. On top of that, there's one thing which is recently very big and discussed heavily at HCT, and that's called apprenticeship. So we're trying to embed apprenticeship into the curriculum, and a 1-year apprenticeship is going to replace the internships, the 8-week internships as they exist now, which I think is going to be a big change, because obviously we know all the benefits from apprenticeship. Students simply get paid after they leave high school. They have this invaluable on-the-job experience when being mentored by people from the industry. They're immersed in the job environment, which is also very, really essential. And also, it creates this close ties with the industry. So that's the vocational part we are doing. And here I'm trying to be a devil's advocate, because, you know, we know the recent statistics. We know that on average, everyone changes their career 7 times in a lifetime. And now this number will, I think, go up. It's going to be 9 times over the lifetime. And if I'm not mistaken, 35% of the people between 25 and 45 are planning to change career, not jobs, career, which means, you know, this vocational education, again, I'm just the devil's advocate, it might be a bit myopic and short-sighted, yes, because, okay, we just preparing everyone to get employed as a, whatever, carpenter, financial analyst for 5 years, and then he will have to change career. And does he have the, I mean, was he educated properly for the change? Does he have the, what we call core skills, which is creative thinking, problem solving, communication, group work, etc.? Because without that, with just the technical skills, he will not be able to move on, yes? So again, I'm all for employing students as soon as possible, but at the same time, let's not forget about the core skills. I don't like the word soft skills, just so they are ready for the change when the time comes. Because it seems like the next generation will change not just jobs, but careers 9, 10, 12 times over the lifetime. Thank you.
Yeah, that's absolutely true that, you know, it's being an academic institute or being a university, like there'll be like a lot of limitations in adopting like vocational systems, because, you know, on one side there'll be like demands from the university or the curriculum. On the other side, we have to train our students for future employment, and, you know, like I'm sure that your internship and our other volunteer programs are really helping out your students to get into the. And our next topic, actually, like we are going to discuss about how this curriculum or university-related syllabus and all making some sort of, you know, a block for giving like some skill and practical oriented learning and all. But before that, let's listen to Ms. Amita Mahor's opening remarks. Please, ma'am.
Very good afternoon to one and all. Namaste from India. What I personally feel like if I see the Indian scenario, vocational education term itself, it is a self-explanatory. But if I see the Indian scenario system, if I talk about the society, they have perceived this particular word in a different way. Because if you see the regular education system of India starts from the primary education, secondary education and higher secondary education and then the graduation and post-graduation label. So we know all these 5-6 ladders, and in these ladders nobody thinks about in regular education system about the vocational education. Although it is very, very important, and in the last 5 years, our regulatory bodies, especially in technical education, AICT, they have given their due attention to this particular thing, and in the last 5 years, the society perception has also been changed towards the vocational education, and now slowly it is coming to our regular education system as far as the technical education is concerned. A few of the initiatives that in India AICT regulatory body has taken, that is the Khaimah scheme. It's a very good scheme, and this is an initiative from their side to incorporate the vocational education in engineering. So everyone, of course, everyone understands the importance of vocational education, and it can effectively, we can say, we will be able to develop an effective skill force once it will be in part of regular education system. Because see, what is happening, before 5 years, the vocational training and the regular education system were considering as in two pillars, parallel pillars. But in the last 5 years, just because of the change in the thoughts of the society, it has been now integrating with the regular education system. And in last 5 years, we can see that it is now becoming a part of a regular education system, but the problem is of faculties, because we don't have, because before 5 years, the faculty members or the education system were not considering the vocational education. So nowadays, the problem which we are facing as a college, that we are not getting very good faculty members who are having very good skill sets, especially faculty across the globe. The skill sets in the faculty is a big issue. So as far as I thought that it has to be a very integral part of a technical education, then only we can bridge the gap between the education and industry. So that's it from my side. The only way to bridge that gap between the industry and academic, that we need to make the vocational education system as an integral part of our general education system. Because general education system, one side it gives an wisdom to the student, whereas the vocational training provide the skill set to the student. And nowadays, industries or the corporate houses, they are looking for the skill set, not for the general education or degrees and all those things. So yeah, vocational training plays a very important role in the technical education, and most probably in the coming 5 years, we can see that we will get a very good skilled main force who are employable also from India side, we can see. Thank you.
I must point out about how this conventional education system has taken to various transitions, and how it's like what are the challenges we are facing at the moment to impart the vocational education system in the colleges and universities. I'm sure that all those insights will be helpful. So let's move to Mr. Syed Abbas, and he's actually from Western University College for some opening remarks.
Firstly, thank you so much for this opportunity. We must understand the meaning of vocational and technical education and its benefits. Why most of the countries are focusing more on development of the skills, especially towards the youth empowerment, youth development, and the employment. Whereas that's a reason, very recently, as per the 2022 index, UAE has been ranked as a world leader in vocational and technical education. We must understand the difference between the academic route and vocational education. I would like to give one example, the difference between the academic and the vocational. With a swimming pool, basically. A theory knowledge, as per the academic route, they teach you to swim in the pool with the theory knowledge. And as soon as you are graduated from the academic route, you will be in the ocean and struggling to swim. You know how to swim, but only towards the theory. But when it comes to the practical, vocational and technical education takes you to the pool and make you to learn how to swim. And then as soon as you are qualified, as soon as you are graduated from the vocational degree, the ocean will take you because you are already prepared how to swim, practically, basically. Similar way, the gap between academic and vocational education, there are many institutions who offers these programs, which also, one of the reason that most of the companies are now hiring those graduates who are qualified from the vocational and technical education. As per the World Economic Forum, the 54% of employees required reskilling or upskilling by 2025. Similar way, when we talk about Europe Commission, it requires 15 million jobs by 2025, especially for those who are having the vocational and technical education qualification. Let it be UAE or India, even when we talk about the Australia, approximately 78% of the students are getting job or trained quickly as soon as they finish their education. Everywhere, practically we are focusing on vocational education, but what is the solution? Are we only focusing on the academic, or on the vocational also we have to focus? So similar way, very recently, as I mentioned, the Crown Prince has announced that the main focus will be more on vocational and technical education, because it comes with the practice, it comes with the knowledge, it comes with the skills, along with the academic education. So I think we need to focus more on this kind of education too. That's all.
Yes, it's quite clear that, he was trying to differentiate the advantages over the general academic education for the vocational education, and some of the key statistics about, how the timely importance of the vocational education. Yes, it's quite clear, and thank you all for initial remarks. Now we'll get into different topics associated with this, and I'm sure that all of you have your own point to say here. So we will start with Ms. Vrushali, ma'am. You are being head of the studies at Heriot-Watt University. So your university is very premier. It's very popular, and it's one of the most demanded university in Dubai. So being a prestigious institution, what are your, best practices or unique initiatives to enhance the skills as well as, their vocational capabilities of the students? Can you highlight one or two?
Yes. What we really believe in Heriot-Watt University is, like I said before, with the risk of repeating myself, that we want to connect the academia and industry very closely. So one initiative is that we invite a lot of people from the industry to take courses with us. So when the students connect directly with people from the industry, they not only hear success stories, but they also are hearing the whole journey. It's not easy for everybody to just see what is on top. It's also what is below, the efforts, the hard work, the dedication that you have to all have to put it to reach where people reach. So that is a very unique initiative, and it seems to be working very well. Students do get motivated when they connect more to the people from the industry on and off. Another initiative is, of course, the internship programs that we have, wherein the students are sent for placements to these places, and they come back with a renewed way of looking at things. They don't look at assignments as oh no, another thing to do and another deadline. And they realize the importance of being on time. They realize the importance of submitting your work on time. They realize the importance of punctuality, like my colleague here said. It's also the soft skills that are very important. It's just not educational skills. It's commitment, it's dedication, it's punctuality, your passion, which is also very important. And these things come more when they are with the industry and with such like-minded people.
Yes, connecting with the industry is again the key word come across your discussion. I'm sure that, all those initiatives which are taken by the university with the industry engagement, whether it is internship or, I have seen many of your activities in terms of visiting various corporate companies here and abroad. So all those things are really making a person while completing the course itself, they are really preparing themselves for an employment. So moving to Mr. Wiktor, actually he's one who is really involving with the students, and as a person who's he's not directly involving with students, he's into the administrative capacity, but organization will have certain do's and don'ts when it comes to the academic activities and student support activities. So how are you managing that? On one side it's actually organization's policies, on the other side you have to focus on the skill development of the students. So what are your initiatives? So you are making sure that students are getting appropriate training, appropriate exposure to the real world.
Right. Thank you very much. Good question. Well, let me just talk about one thing, because a few years ago we just realized, maybe it was too late, that in every field there's a professional, usually professional association, which trains the members, awards them with certain certifications, qualifications. So for example, in accounting we have ACCA, CIMA, CPA, we have CIPD in quality, we have, in logistics we have, CIPD in HR, we have SIPS in logistics, we have project management associations in quality. And then we decided that, well, let's actually embed some of these qualifications into our programs, because sometimes where they are kind of worth more than their academic degree. So let's combine both to give students exposure to the real qualification, real skills they actually get or will get as the members of these professional associations. So now, to give an example, every students in finance will have to take external examination which is CFA-IF, Investment Foundation, to get this qualification, which certifies he has knowledge of finance at certain level. And we have the same framework in each of the 9 majors we offer in, which means that every single student graduating from HCT graduates with both a degree, academic degree, but also the certain professional qualification, which proves he's both academically and professionally ready for the job market. And I think it works really well.
All this giving extra certification as well as the membership in various organizations like PMI and all, they are getting an opportunity to learn with what is the real world requirements, right? That's really interesting. So I hope HCT students are getting a best exposure in terms of industry engagement. And moving to Mr. Peter. So Peter is the one who's actually directly linking with students as a lecturer, right? So what are the initiatives you are actually imparting in your classroom for students to get some experience and some exposure of the outside world? The initiatives and the programs and the projects which you are doing inside the classroom.
Yes, so at the University of Bolton, we understand that knowledge is not enough. So the students for law, they have to be engaged in moot court, client counseling, so that they can actually have the feel. Because I remember once a long time ago, is a student is asking an experienced student, are these things that you are learning, are they the real things that happen in your workplace? And that was a very That's a question that today university is attempting to answer, that the same things you are answering are the same things you are gaining knowledge about are the same things that are being required by the industry. In so doing, there is a lot of effort to make sure that the content and what is being learned is actually directly connected with the need of the industry and how it is applicable. Most important, with the current challenge of unemployment, once you have graduated, students need now to be encouraged how to apply and use the skills to create businesses of their own. And I also like to mention that as academicians, we really need to do a lot, because some of the students who are joining university today, they have a lot to catch up. So for them to be able to comprehend to the level in which the market the needs of them, then there is a lot for the teacher or the knowledge system to do. And amongst those, what we actually do is introduce the student to command verbs, so that in answering the question, the command verb like analysis. So once you're analyzing the knowledge, then you are able to be given a practical example, which you are going to analyze and understand the whole concept. However, I would just say that is not a one-man job, and is quite a lot that needs to be done.
It's a team of people doing like a lot of activities there, I'm sure. So students are like planning and they're consulting, they're taking like a support of the other faculty members to implement various activities is one of the specific point Mr. Peter has highlighted. Moving to Ms. Amita ma'am, Dr. Amita, actually like you are in an administrative position with a university, right? So university always have to meet the quality requirements, and they have to meet a calendar requirement, they have to meet other exams and other schedules. In between, how are you finding, strategies, or how are you developing various strategies which are really benefiting your students in terms of acquiring that, knowledge by connecting with the industry, or by enhancing their own skill sets and all?
Your question is very relevant to my profession. Actually, as a director of one of affiliated institute, we are facing a lot of issues related to vocational training. Now the thing is, one side we are already bounded with the university academic calendar, where we need to execute the lot of activities, compliance. We need to follow the academic calendar which has been provided by the university. And of course, if you follow that particular calendar, there are very less scopes to execute the other additional things. Like we are having internal assessments, then the university exams and all those things. And in between, we are getting very less time for this value addition kind of thing. But yeah, at our institute level, we have taken a lot of initiatives for the skill development program, like a lot of MOOCs academies we are running, like we did tie up with Coursera and all those things. And from that, students are gaining a lot of things. And we are asking the students that if you are going to, like students are that kind of, we can say, when they are not getting the direct advantage of that, they are not going to take that thing seriously, because they are in that age group where they don't bother about what is the benefit for them. So we are linking these Coursera and other MOOCs platform courses with their assessments, internal adjustment we are doing. And apart from that, we signed an MOU with a lot of industries, where the industry persons are coming to our premises and conducting their value addition courses for the students. So that's it. And we are also shake hand with these lot of ICT policy. Like in my previous talk, I mentioned the Khaimah scheme, where in India, they have national quality few skill set indicators they have identified, and the students are supposed to enroll during the semester breaks and all those things, and they need to attend the 60 hours or 150 hours training, depending on what kind of level of program is there. It is from level 1 to level 5 programs are there, starting from certification to diploma level and all those things. So as per the, if the students are of first year, we ask them to join the level 1 program, and followed by they can go up to level 5 program. So with the effective utilization of these things, I can say that we are giving some value addition to the students, and they may have some good...
I hope, being a traditional university will have like their own bottlenecks to go through. So I'm sure that all these initiatives, especially your effort to make sure that students getting like a good interaction with the industries are really helping the students to enhance their technical as well as other skill sets. So moving to Mr. Syed Abbas, actually he's representing Western University College, a new college who's actually, which is actually taking a growth step in UAE. So what are your initiatives in terms of, you are designing a new curriculum system, although you follow like some standard systems. So what are your additional inputs in terms of while developing a new academic system for the institute? So I know that you are representing that most of that business development and marketing side and all. So obviously for all these aspects also we require to convince the upcoming students about the unique curricula which your institute is offering by incorporating the skill sets.
I would say the most important point, the attractiveness to get the students and to initiate the Western University College is informing them it's 100% internship program for 6 months, because we follow the vocational education, and 6 months of the study on the campus and 6 months at the industry experience. The first important point. Second, we will be, whenever we send the offer letter to the students, it will be clearly written 100% guaranteed job will be given from the institution. One of the beauty of students' benefit, because in this way, not only the UAE students, we are focusing the students who are planning to come to UAE from Africa, African countries, or from Nepal, or from India, or from Bangladesh, or Sri Lanka. So we are focusing more on these countries because every country believes more on practical education than on just theory basis. So the first thing, as I said the 6 months of the study at the campus and 6 months the industry experience. So that is the beauty of an vocational and technical education. So as soon as they complete their qualification, we will be directing them for, if they wish to study the bachelor's degree or master's degree from any of the UK universities for the top-up program. So it is our responsibility to direct them for the universities. We take the complete responsibility. We don't just leave the students after completing their level or qualification of the UK. So that's the beauty basically. That is a plan of Western University College, currently in Ajman, but maybe, inshallah, in coming days, it will be expand across the globe.
Yes, I hope that, your university college is giving, good idea about what are the probable things we are going to do when the courses really starts, and it's all done as per the offers which we are giving to.
Yes, thank you.
And moving forward, I know that, all the institutions are saying that how well they are taking these initiatives. And one point we come across is that, the engaging students with the industry, that's the only one solution. But on the other side, we have actually universities, speculations and specification to be followed, or the awarding bodies have their own points to say about, do's and don'ts, and what are the things to be completed and when are the deadlines. So I wanted to understand all your perspectives about, how this pedagogy related or the curriculum related limitations on the one side. On the other side, as an institute, when there is a lot of bureaucratic system, how this administrative as well as the technical, dilemmas or, challenges these universities or your representing institute are facing, so that, if we can come across with the various innovative solutions to this, we can enhance the, upcoming generations, or we can assure that, they are getting adequate education and the skill sets improvement. So moving to Mr. Wiktor, he was pointing out that, as an institute, there are like a lot of curricular related responsibilities. There are like other academic responsibilities. How are you finding out, a timeline to ensure that the kids are getting, or students are getting like adequate time and enough space to get connected with the industry, other than your engagement with, some certifications and other programs?
Yes, well, I must say it's a bit difficult because the curricula basically tend to be overloaded. I think the good example is now that I just mentioned that we plan to restructure the curricula we have and replace internships with apprenticeship, which is going to be 1 year. And that actually means that we have to reduce the rest of the curriculum, or remove some courses or merge some courses into like 2 courses in one, because obviously the typical bachelor program is about 132 credits. We can hardly go above, or actually the standard is 120. Ours is 132. So I think that introducing the apprenticeship would be a good opportunity to actually merge courses, just to leave what is really indispensable, what is really essential, which teaches students the essential practical skills, and remove anything which is not that important. Because, as you said, we cannot achieve everything and provide students with enough knowledge for the professional qualifications, have apprenticeship, and then teach them all the core and soft skills just within these the framework of 120 credits. So I think a lot of revamping will have to be needed when we preparing the new structures.
Yeah, I know that on one side you have like a university's stipulations and administrative things, but on the other side your initiatives are really helping out the students. So moving to Mr. Peter, actually, like, I know that Bolton is actually offering programs which are mostly like vocational education, but still you have to meet the demands of the universities which you are associating with, right? So how it's like a Western, like how the Bolton's curriculum is encouraging students to enhance their vocational as well as the, practical skill sets and all? Is it like a university curriculum is the skill friendly, or it's knowledge oriented? What is your thoughts about that?
Well, for the university, we have both the vocational qualification, and the standard of this qualification has been mapped out to merge well with the needs of academic at university level. So they are very much highly regulated by the same body that is regulating the academic at university level. So that way the standard is able to be maintained, and for these students to translate or join well, they study under the same kind of guideline. So I think that is how it is happening there. So, and maybe I would just like to add that we as the academicians, we have a very calling task. So one thing that we see once students, they join the university knowledge level, is that there are so many gaps. And for this one, I don't know, because here I have heard about very unconventional things. So maybe the academicians could be able to develop an alphabet A to Z, but in this case it contains content which is needed in the university. Maybe you could have A not for apple, but for something that is very, that will be able to reconcile this student who comes from the vocational and also those who are also coming from work experience. maybe you could say S for study skills, R for referencing. So this kind of chart would be very helpful to reconcile and bring about a standard.
Yeah, you are saying that you have a framework which helping that, while at academic one side, like you are focusing on the skill sets as well. That's quite clear, Mr. Then moving to Ms. Vrushali, ma'am, actually, your college is, as I said, in that, one of the prestigious in Dubai. So how are you finding that the curriculum-related challenges or, administrative or pedagogy-related challenges? Is it really like, boosting that there is a requirement of vocational skill sets enhancement, or it's saying that, the academics first?
Not really. It does boost the connection more because also mainly because of the nature of a curriculum. I'm teaching interior design and I come from the School of Textile and Design at Heriot-Watt. We have all design-based courses. So we do encourage the industry connection. We are not very rigid in terms of this has to be done like this, Our curriculum matches with the UK campus. We have campuses in Edinburgh, Galashiels, Malaysia, and Dubai. And we have a unified program. We also encourage the go global opportunities where the students can shift between campuses and take advantage of another campus and another environment, another setup, without affecting their whole curriculum. A student can move from year 2 from Dubai to year 3 in the Galashiels campus. So we do not have that kind of a very rigid curriculum. We are also constantly updating our curriculum. Currently now, our interior design program will not be called BA in interior design. It would be known as Bachelor of Arts in Interior Architecture, because interior designers no longer want themselves to be called as interior designers. We feel we are interior architects as well. We provide much, much more than design. So we do believe in updating ourselves, being in par with what is happening around. Like Corona has had its disadvantages, it also has had some advantages. All of us would agree is the unification of going global. I mean, I can, like someone said in the previous panel, I can sit here and do a course from some other campus, or I can join a lecture which is happening in another UK campus or in Malaysia campus. So that has also kind of widened our horizons if you take the advantage of the best. So
yeah, I hope that your interdisciplinary approaches, or can I call it as like, offering like architecture along with the interior designing, is really, for students, it's getting like a broader knowledge and exposure in all the aspects. And as you highlighted that COVID has really positively impacted in some areas, and education is one such. So that's our last point of discussion with all the panel members. So I wanted to get your closing remarks, and how are you actually taken COVID-19, especially like, today we are releasing a magazine, Digital Learning. So when learning became, virtual, and e-learning and digital learning it's a topic of the discussion. So how it's possible for you to like enhance the real life interactions and all? I know that there are a lot of challenges, right? So how it can be like taken in a positive way, how actually, overcome those challenges of e-learning. And on the other side, we have to make sure that, the students are really learning and their skill sets are improving and it's not compromised. So what are the approaches post-COVID you have taken in your university, ma'am?
As far as that e-learning kind of thing is concerned, because as you clearly mentioned that post-COVID, we can think about the COVID duration. There is a lot of changes happens in the education system. The whole learning system was going online at that time, and there were few positive things that the faculty fraternity and the student fraternity they learned from it. And basically COVID duration has created a very good impact on the education system, that how we can implement the e-learning for the students. So after COVID duration, our institute has taken a lot of initiatives, and one of the initiatives, as I already mentioned, that we have started working on the MOOCs platforms. And apart from that, we have created a portal at our institute level where faculty members, they are like posting their videos, recorded lectures from which the students can be benefited. And time to time, the industry persons live lectures also we are conducting, corporate talks and leadership talks also arranging, we are arranging for the students. So this is how the kind of virtual learning can play a very important role for the students, because in corporates, especially if I talk about the corporates, the HRs and the other persons, they don't have much time for the travel. So under that circumstances, if we can arrange their talks for the students on like through virtual talks, it can create a good impact on our students. So that's it from my side.
Yeah, I hope all these initiatives are actually like doing for a great extent to, sort out the limitations of this digital learning and all. So, Mr. Abbas, actually, you are having like a recent institute, and you are offering like programs which are like on campus and hybrid also there, and in the market actually demands for the online courses also, right? So what you really promote, like, nowadays students or, skill sets, maybe like I as a business teacher, I should say that entrepreneurial skill sets or, interpersonal relationship and communication and all. So what is the demand in the market? Like, is it demands or the queries are coming for hybrid learning, or they really wanted to come and study at the university at the moment?
Okay. Here there are two types of questions, in fact, he has given. The first is the hybrid learning, and the second is what is the demand in the market. Firstly, the demand in the market is there are many people here in UAE especially who are working in different organizations on a corporate world, especially in the industries or different chemical or petroleum or other IT sectors basically, who have migrated here. It's about 20 years back with a bachelor's degree. Now they have a demand for the master's degree. So what happens is, now for them, the demand is to provide them the online education on a weekly basis. So what we do is, for a corporate employees, we provide them the master's degree program through online on a weekly basis, an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours of the class. So it will not allow them to give a gap to their work field or to their corporate world, but also it will allow them to study based on their requirements. Second most important is we don't conduct any exams, because all our course are based on the assignments and assessments. As I said, we follow the vocational education. So mainly based, so all the corporate world, they love to go ahead with this education. So when it comes to the market demand, okay, yes, there are a lot of competition here. The competitors are there everywhere. There are more than 500 institutions in UAE which offers the vocational education, including the UK qualification, bachelor's degree, master's degree. But it depends how committed we are. So we must be committed towards what we offer. The service is important, because let it be the regular students who just completed grade 12, or let it be the corporate world people and employees. How committed we are, that is important. Along with the quality of education, along with the service, along with the teachers or faculties that we show them before the enrollment. So it has to be the same. So once it is the same, and that educational institution will expand in UAE, and that creates the need of an education based on the vocational.
The people of Dubai are one of the early adopters of technology. Maybe like they'll be okay to study with this kind of like hybrid learning on one side, and obviously like here people are more of practical. They will be looking at, after completing the course, how soon they can get into a corporate career. So in that sense, that both are equally helping to get into that the career and the skill sets required, right?
Yes.
So that's a good remarks, and thank you, Mr. Abbas. And moving to Ma'am Vrushali, ma'am. Actually, like post-COVID, So is it all same or you are totally changed? That's what I wanted to ask in terms of the academic delivery, in terms of online learning, in terms of hybrid learning and all student experience.
Yes, we have changed. I would say we are now doing everything face to face because, again, I feel that teaching does involve human connection, which doesn't happen across our laptops and screens. So we have our face-to-face classes, but when it comes to taking advantage of, say, something important happening somewhere else, where it's difficult to travel and with the expenses involved. So we then take advantage of getting connected online. But I personally also believe truly in having this human connection with my students, being able to have them in front of me and do a lot of one-on-ones with them when we're discussing design rather than do it across on a screen.
I am sure that you are using technology in a positive way, and we cannot, keep technology away in learning now onwards, right? And COVID has really boosted. Maybe like the technological adaptation, which may come in 2030, has came already. So that may be the whole change of COVID-19 in terms of like digital learning and adoption of, new generation technology and all. And moving to Mr. Wiktor, actually, you are heading an institute, so HCT is one of the early adopters. So, is there any change in terms of attitude of students? I personally feel in my institute that when we deliver, when we plan with certain content, actually students have an attitude that, oh, it's already there on internet. Why should I come and attend? So when we may be planning about maybe I'll tell you one of my last experience. We actually planned a workshop for students on preparing their curriculum vitae. So we are actually dealing with the young, adolescent students who are doing a higher national diploma and all. But the response, it was really shocking that students were telling that, oh, you are going to teach us CV templates making. Is it there on internet? So is there any visible change in terms of students' attitude when we try to impart certain skill sets or some value additions in the system? So do you have any specific experience for which you have taught the earlier system was much better?
Okay, first of all, I think it's a good point because we were discussing so much about the curriculum and the content and we deliver things we teach. But I think what is equally important is also to provide students with some kind of career, how do you call it, service orientation, which tells them what kind of job prospects are there, how to get ready for the job market, how to write a CV, and or maybe it should be called career counseling. Maybe that's the proper name. And of course, we have career officers doing with this kind of things. We have short courses, especially before the internships they take, preparing them for writing a CV in a professional way. So yes, we do such things, and I really think that's important. Not just to teach them certain content, but then make them realize there's a market there, and you have to be actually intensively look for the job, not just just be there. Right? So part of that is again CV writing. Part of that is career counseling. Part of that is probably LinkedIn, how to set up your LinkedIn account, how to monitor it, how to manage it, because as we all know, those who have LinkedIn account, after every day we have information about how many people were looking for our profiles, yes, and searching our profiles. So that shows how important it is. And by the way, one more information which probably adds value to the answer is that in some institutions, including HCT, we switched recently to a new way of hiring candidates. Now we're hiring external recruiters. And basically what they do, they search LinkedIn accounts, looking for the profiles we need. So that's really a very different approach from the previous one when people are just applying for the vacant positions we have. Thank you.
Hello. I think like having a team with a lot of international exposure is actually, if the teacher, one of the important thing is that, the faculty members or the professors of the university must have all those skill sets, their exposure. That's important thing, and I'm sure that HCT values that a lot. That's why like the international recruitment program of faculty members and all really making good contribution towards, like advanced learning practices at the university. So moving to Mr. Peter, actually how do you see that the opportunity post COVID-19? So is it really enhancing your curriculum and the classes and all those things, or you feel that this has created more complications in the course delivery? What do you feel, and what's your closing remarks about this?
Well, past COVID-19, so it was quite bad, although the institutions learned a lot about being lean and being able to survive regardless of the kind of difficulties. So there are so many things which have been picked up that will cause savings to institutions which were learned during the COVID-19, such as now is possible to have blended learning, whereby some areas will be taught in class and others online or without meeting. So post-COVID-19, there are some very positive things that businesses were able to pick. And it's good that we should not just jump back to the pre-COVID-19, but we should be able to get the best of all these things. So that is it.
You are saying that this change is permanent, right? So once we move or once we adopt new technology, it's very hard to come back, right? So maybe like while insisting students also, like, we have to do that the previously said academic activities, and all students' attitude must have changed. So I'm quite sure about that. So thank you all the participants, thank you all the panel members for giving like wonderful talks about your experience and what is the best practice you have done at your institution or the university. So I would like to have few words from Mr. Wiktor Patena, who's actually like a senior in position, and I think like in terms of professional experience is the senior most person. So how do you see that future of learning in terms of like the changing time period, the value system is changing, the technology part is changing. So how can you say something about like, how this strengthen that vocational education system on an overall point of view? I'm talking to you, yeah.
I think I missed it a bit.
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Wiktor.
Right. Again, as HCC, honestly, we are just moving into these vocational streams, and currently in the fall, for the first time, we're trying to offer, we'll offer new diploma programs in business, and which, well, it's challenging, but also I feel the opportunity we cannot miss. Well, some of these programs are close to the fields we are already offering in terms of the bachelor programs. But for example, one is totally new. Somehow we didn't see that potential recently. We're going to offer diploma in real estate. And of course, it's such a huge market here in Dubai. So it seems like it is the opportunity we cannot miss. We are all enthusiastic about, first of all, hiring people to teach the programs, but also using all these professionals working in the real estate markets and teaching our students about short-term lease, long-term lease, how to manage tenants, how to manage landlords, how to evaluate real estate, because there are so many new topics and again, so many new professionals and people working in this industry, hopefully would be willing to collaborate with us and be adjuncts, work as adjuncts for us or work as part-time faculty, just to again make sure we keep this close ties with the industry and the academia. So really, I'm looking forward to this new program being offered with the collaboration with the industry, which is such a huge market here, real estate.
Yes, Mr. Wiktor, that's true. Like, you know, once it's going to be like a long-term change, and it's like whatever the initiatives we are taking, I'm sure that all these things will be keeps on improving. And these are the important things we need to understand in terms of like, you know, how we can strengthen the current or existing practices in terms of like a vocational education or technical education. And I'm sure that many participants here are from India. So in India, the system is totally different in terms of the technical education, right? It's generally offered through the technical education institutions or, you know, polytechnic colleges and all. But whereas if you look at that Western trend here in UAE, mostly adopt that, you know, Western education system. Here, the academic institutions are generally classified as it's a university, the proper university, or those who comes under the technical and vocational education skill set. So each of us have like our own important role to play in terms of like enhancing the quality of the vocational education. And I hope all the deliberations of our panel members are really fruitful, and it's actually like created a lot of questions in mind, like what are the activities we have to do in terms of like planning our curriculum, since many of us are educators here, and what are the things we have to be conscious, you know, we have to be cautious of developing a curricular system and all. And I hope all these deliberations are useful and strengthen our, you know, like a vocational education system in the future. And thank you so much, each participants, for actively participating in this discussion. And moving forward to the next session. Thank you so much.